Hey guys, it's Mr. Fuentes coming at you with another installment of Seminole Math. Today we actually got like a three-part video. Okay, so there's a couple things that I'm going to be showing you in this video. All right, first thing I'm going to show you is how to identify a positive and negative slope on a graph. Okay, second thing I'm going to show you is once we identify the kind of slope that we have, how to identify the y-intercept from my graph. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to get the rise over run from my graph so that we can figure out what the slope is going to be. Okay, all right, let's go. All right, so first thing we got to do is identify whether this is a positive or a negative slope from this graph. And honestly, it's really simple. I've always told my kids, draw a mountaintop. Okay, just like that, where one side of the mountain is positive and one side of the mountain is negative. And it makes it really simple for the kids, or for you guys, to identify positive or negative slope. Okay, so what you want to do here with your mountaintop, since one side is positive and one side is negative, what I do is I take my pencil or my marker or whatever the case is, right? And I put it on the positive side, and then I check, okay, does this line match the positive side or does the line match the negative side? And as you can see, it looks more like a positive slope, right? So super simple. We know that my slope here is going to be positive, so whenever you're taking an exam, anything with a negative slope, okay, we can automatically take it off. And usually this is a good way to get 50% of the answer choices out of the way, okay, and narrow it down to the correct answers. All right, so again, you take your pen, your marker, whatever the case is, and you check which side of the mountain does my line look like. Does it look like the positive side or the negative side? And in this case, it's positive, right? Super simple. Okay, so that's the very first thing that you're learning today. All right, next what we're going to learn is how to figure out what the y-intercept of my graph is, okay? So also very simple. What you want to do here is you want to look at your y-axis, okay? That's my vertical axis. Everybody should know that my y runs up and down, my x runs left to right, okay? So I got vertical, I got horizontal. I'm only going to be paying attention to my vertical axis here, and basically the way that you find out what your y-intercept is you check, where does my graphed line cross the y-axis? Right? So in this case, we know that the origin is right there. There's my 0, 0, okay? And I can see that my graphed line crosses the y-axis right here at this point. So it's just a matter of figuring out what that coordinate for that point is, okay? So if this is 0, 0, we have to go down 1 unit, we have to go down 2 units, okay? So I know that my y-intercept is going to be -2, all right? Now, if my line would have passed through, let's say that point, okay, well then here, my y-intercept would be +1, +2, +3. Okay, now, does it matter if my line is positive or negative slope? No, it doesn't, okay? My line could be crossing like this and still have that same y-intercept of +3, just like the other line. Okay, so again, checking for your y-intercept is very easy. You check, where does my graphed line cross the y-axis? Okay, and whatever that point is, that's what your y-intercept is going to be. Okay, super simple, right? All right, on to step 3. All right, so now here in this step, what I'm going to be showing you is how to figure out what the slope of my line is. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to do is you want to find 2 perfect points off of your line. Now, what I mean by perfect is a point like this that's crossing right through the middle of these crosses right here, right? It's crossing perfectly through an ordered pair. So actually the y-intercept there would be a perfect point. Another perfect point that we could do is right here at that point right there, all right? Now, the way that I figure what my slope is going to be is I have to check what my rise over my run is. In other words, from one perfect point to another, how many units did I have to rise? In this case, I had to rise 2 units, okay? How many units did I have to run? And in this case, I had to run 4 units. So I take my rise of 2, my run of 4, and notice that it created a fraction, 2 over 4, right? Now, 2 over 4 can be reduced to 1/2, and we can also get its decimal equivalency and call it 0.5, right? Now, what if I wouldn't have picked these points? Do you think that my slope would have changed? Well, it just so happens that I have another perfect point right there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to count from this perfect point all the way to this perfect point. How many units did I have to rise? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many units did I have to run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have a rise of 4 and a run of 8. So if I look at my rise over run, I get the fraction 4 over 8, which is the same as 2 over 4, the same as 1/2, the same as 0.5. So no matter which points on my line I decide to use, I think from here you can tell that my slope is going to remain the same no matter which points I decide to use. All right, so that's just a quick way for me to find my rise over run, okay, from any line, as long as I have perfect points to use. All right. So the next time you're working on slope, okay, it's an easy way for you to find it. All right, rise over run. All right, guys, have a good one.